Welcome to the second video of this playlist where we do day 2, task 8 of the Advent of Cyber 2023 event, I guess we can call it, project, whatever you'd like to call it. Where the previous task was very smooth and very easy with a lot of me reading and just not a lot of computer interaction. Unfortunately, this one is going to not be as fun. I can already say that because I have looked into this task a little bit before we started, because I need to do that. I can't just do these blind because we will get stuck. We will get hopelessly stuck, and that is not fun to watch for anyone. So at some point, what I'm going to have to do when we get completely stuck is tell you what I had to do to get around it. And that may involve watching another person going through this task and noting down the answers. It may have been talking to someone on Discord or LinkedIn to get me the answers. When that happens, and I would have been able to get the answer myself, provided I hadn't talked to someone and it was accessible, I will always take you through my solution. So, I put my money where my mouth is. I can explain that if I were to be able to access this particular task's machine or anything of the sort, I could easily do the task. These tasks are generally meant for beginners. There is a more advanced beginner, like more advanced set of challenges. Like they're called the side quest. To find these, you have to put QR codes together, which obviously is going to be a little trickier because I would probably not even realize that parts of them are visible. But we'll see. We'll see if we get to those. If someone is able to provide me the links, I might ask for those and do them on this channel. They might involve significantly more doing rather than me reading. For the moment, though, we're looking at task 8, which is titled Day 2 Log Analysis O Data All Ye Faithful. They like their Christmas buttons here. TryHackMe. All right. So, first thing we see is another green Start Attack button. Start Machine button. I'll turn that on because we'll need it for a demonstration in a minute. We actually can't access it, but that's okay. Okay. So it's starting. It says Start Machine is now grayed out, and there's a little thing at the bottom that says, oh, I can't even see that. Okay. Fair enough, I can see it. I'm going to scroll up here a little bit real quick. Yep. Here's the Start Machine button. Okay, the first thing we see is the story again, and there's a task banner for day 2. Very similar to day 1. I have no idea what that banner says. Could very well hold the QR code. We don't know. It's just a banner for day 2. That's all we know. After yesterday's resounding success, McHoneybell walks into Antarcticraft's office with a gleaming smile. She takes out her company-issued laptop from her knapsack and decides to check the news. I haven't read this story yet, so bear with me. Traffic on the North 15 highway. Glad I skied into work today, she boasts. A notification from the Best Festival. I got distracted because the machine just grabbed focus. This is something you generally don't want to do for screen reader users or people who are trying to read text like I was just doing. Essentially just yanked my focus to the machine that just came online, and that's good in a sense that you can immediately start typing if you want to, but now I need to find my place again. Unfortunately, that's not very hard. Here we go. We received a notification from Best Festival Company's internal communication tool, HollyChat. Ping. It's another task. It reads, the B team has been tasked with understanding the network of Antarcticraft's South Pole site. Taking a minute to think about the task ahead, McHoneybell realizes that Antarcticraft has no fancy technology that captures events on the network. No tech? No problem, exclaims McHoneybell. She decides to open up her Python terminal. Learning objectives. In today's task, you will get an introduction to what data science involves and how it can be applied in cybersecurity. Get a gentle, we promise, introduction to Python. Get to work with some popular Python libraries such as pandas and matplotlib to crunch data. Help McHoneybell establish an understanding of Antarcticraft's network. Accessing the machine. Before moving forward, review the questions on the connection card shown below. Well, we can't, but actually let's get an AI description of that connection card so I can show how some tool that I didn't have last year actually helps me to get around the really inaccessible problem here. I'm going to just really quickly set my prompt. The prompt is going to be describe the connection card. I'm going to select that, going to bring up the menu that tells me that I can do this, and then set it to describe my screen. And it's going to describe the connection card for us. I'm going to have to computer read this out, as I will for things like code, explanations about code, and anything that's more sort of cyber, just to give it an extra swing. For people who can't understand the speech, it is also visible in the top left corner, as that is showing off what we are currently looking at. If that's distracting, I can turn that off. As stated in the previous video, just let me know in the comments. Okay, for some reason, the AI is not letting me have this. Last time when I did this, it worked just fine. Right now it does not, probably because the machine is in the way. What I'm going to do is see if I can blow this image up real quick, there, and see if that works better. See, I'm going to, if it just says sorry, I can't do it. No, okay, I can't do it. So AI being what it is, sometimes it works well, sometimes it does not. Basically, it says with the red and green check marks, it's never a good idea to use color for information alone. Accessibility tip for yours truly. That'll be $5, please. Thank you very much. Basically, the check marks indicate that there is no direct link for this task, which is a crying shame, because if they had done that, this would be fully accessible. There is a VNC link, which we cannot use because the VM does not have audio. There is no SSH, which would be pointless in this way anyway, because I don't think you can control a Jupyter notebook from the command line, but we'll see in a minute. And there's a couple more ones. I forget what else is there. Can I at least see the questions? Yeah. So we can see... Let's see... Is there a direct link available? No. Am I given credentials to connect directly to the VM via RDP, VNC, or SSH? No. Is there a split screen available? Yes. Okay, so yeah. The split screen is completely inaccessible currently. I have pointed out last year to TryHackMe staff that if you just make sure that there's a screen reader running on these VMs, which is perfectly easily doable, you can just make sure that the base VM that you start from has Orca properly set up, then this would already be a lot more doable. They have not done this for as far as I'm aware. No, I don't think even audio works properly currently. No real way for me to figure this out at the moment. I can see from doing an OCR scan of the machine screen that it's a Linux box, probably Ubuntu or Debian or anything of the sort. But I don't think I can get it to talk, so that's really a shame. Here's hoping they fix that at some point, but right now we cannot use the split screen machines, not any of them. The only way to really do it is to frequently OCR, type in the edit field with hotkeys that you hopefully know from having used these kinds of machines before, and hope for the best. It's a very clunky, almost impossible way of working, and I'm not going to do it in this video any further than I possibly can, which is a few clicks. We'll see it in a minute. Right now it doesn't matter yet. So that's what the connection card says. The alt text only says AOC connection card, so that's completely pointless. There we go. To access the machine that you are going to be working on, click on the green Start Machine button located in the top right of this task. We've done that. After waiting 3 minutes, Jupyter, Jupyter, will open on the right-hand side. If you cannot see the machine, press the blue Show Split View button at the top of the room. Return to this task. We will be using this machine later. No, we will not, actually. Now, Data Science 101 is very sciencey and cybery and computery, So I'm having the computer read that to us.
Speed of Data Science 101. The core element of data science is interpreting data. Rate 40.
Yeah, that's fine.
Data. The core element of data science is interpreting data to answer questions. Data science often involves programming, statistics, and recently the use of artificial intelligence (AI) to examine large amounts of data to understand trends and patterns and help businesses make predictions that lead to informed decisions. The roles and responsibilities of a data scientist include role, description, data collection. This phase involves collecting the raw data. This could be a list of recent transactions. For example, data processing. This phase involves turning the raw data that was previously collected into a standard format the analyst can work with. This phase can be quite the time sink. Data mining. Plus this phase involves creating relationships between the data, finding data mining, clustering/classification. This phase involves creating relationships between the data, finding patterns and correlations that can start to provide some insight. Think of it like chipping away at a big stone, discovering more and more as you chip away. Analysis, exploratory/confirmatory. This phase is where the bulk of the analysis takes place. Here the data is explored to provide answers to questions and some future projections. For example, an e-commerce store can use data science to understand the latest and most popular products to sell, as well as create a prediction for the busiest times of the year. Communication, visualization. This phase is extremely important. Even if you have the answers to the universe, no one will understand you if you can't present them clearly. Data can't be visualized as charts, tape, etc. Data science and cybersecurity. Graphic clickable McCunny Bell. Speech mode off.
The use of data science is quickly becoming more frequent in cybersecurity because of its ability to offer insight. Analyzing data, such as log events, leads to an intelligent understanding of ongoing events within an organization. Using data science for anomaly detection is an example. Other uses of data science in cybersecurity include SIEM. SIEMs collect and correlate large amounts of data to give a wider understanding of the organization's landscape. Let's click that link, because the SIEM term is a link. And if we click it, I'll turn the speech on for this. I'll press the button on SIEM. And there's resounding silence as a result. This is an accessibility issue. Essentially, we don't know anything has happened. But because I'm a coder and I know how these things usually work, I'm going to assume there's going to be a little bit of extra web page added to the bottom of it, which explains what SIEM is. That's correct, and we also have a couple of unlabeled links to boot. Let's see what they say.
Speech, link view in full screen. Open intercom messenger button. Link view in full screen. THM browser. TryHackMe advent of cyber.
So there's one that says view in full screen, and the other ones don't have the other ones don't really have a title. And now I cannot seem to actually. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so yeah, there's like 4 links here according to my screen reader. They all have no labels. They're probably icons of some variety, and they don't quite seem to work. It does say that SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management System, that is used to aggregate security information in the form of logs, alerts, artifacts, and events into a centralized platform that would allow security analysts to perform near real-time analysis during security monitoring. Now, I would like to dismiss this, and I can't. It won't let me dismiss it. So that's a problem. I'm going to have to refresh the page. What I find amusing, let's go back where we were. Task is no longer open. That's rude. I'll just open it up again. There. Now we go here, and we're back where we were. So when I did this in Edge the other time, for example, for some reason the SIEM link was no longer a link; it just became a regular word. So I think that was just something that didn't quite load correctly. There you have it. This is inaccessible in the sense that you didn't even know that was there if you hadn't known to go look for it. It's completely far away from the focus, and a screen reader only sees one thing at a time. So if you don't alert the user that something's changed on the page, they're not going to know that something's changed on the page, this is a really good example for that.
Speech mode off.
So let's continue down this text. Threat trend analysis. Emerging threats can be tracked and understood. Predictive analysis. By analyzing historical events, you can create a potential picture of what the threat landscape may look like in the future. This can aid in the prevention of incidents. Introducing Jupyter Notebooks. Okay, that's another techie topic, so we'll have the computer read it.
Jupyter Notebooks are open source documents containing code, text, and terminal functionality. They are popular in the data science and education communities because they can be easily shared and executed across systems. Additionally, Jupyter Notebooks are a great way to demonstrate and explain proof of concepts in cybersecurity. Jupyter Notebooks could be considered as instruction manuals, as you will come to discover. A notebook consists of cells that can be executed one at a time, step by step. You will see an example of a Jupyter Notebook in the screenshot below. Note how there are both formatted text and Python code being processed. Graphic clickable showcasing an example Jupyter notebook.
Okay, so someone has like tried to put a meaningful alt text in this image. I'm sorry to say it's not quite very descriptive yet, but I guess it's better than nothing at all, or just the title of the task, which was the previous one was doing. This is already someone, I can see someone tried, and that's good.
Before we begin working with Jupyter notebooks for today's practicals, we must become familiar with the interface. Let's return to the machine we deployed at the start of the task. Pane on the right of the screen. You will be presented with two main panes. On the left is the File Explorer, and on the right is your workspace. This pane is where the notebooks will open. Initially, we are presented with a launcher screen. You can see the types of notebooks that the machine supports. For now, let's left-click on the Python 3, the kernel icon under the notebook heading to create our first notebook.
Okay.
Graphic clickable demonstrating the interface of Jupyter Lab when authenticated. The image depicts the File Explorer. Graphic clickable and notebook launcher.
Okay.
Speech mode off.
So that is actually a pretty decent, I must say, thingy. A pretty decent alt text, and I commend the author for this. I think this is written by CM Netic. Is I think a long-term TryHackMe person. Like it's like later down, I think we'll find some examples of that. I've actually reached out to this author because I figured it might actually be possible to make this a lot more accessible with a really minor change. We'll have to see if they respond. But what I'm now going to have to do is
speech mode top.
Is do an OCR on the graphic that signifies the screen of the virtual machine we're working with. I'm going to do that.
Recognizing result document. Applications places system V.
And it says applications places system, and that tells me that we're looking at a Linux machine because that is what the I think the GNOME desktop looks like.
About colon welcome back.
So apparently it's open to a page called about colon welcome back.
File. Edit.
Now we have menu bar here.
File. Edit. View. O. Run. Jupyter Lab. C 127.0.0.1:8888/lab. Kernel tab settings help.
So we can go to kernel tab settings help. These are the tabs we can click on.
Filter files by name.
Filter files by name. That's probably some kind of search bar.
O. /4 capstone /.
That is one of the only folder we can currently see, and this is labeled 4_, so there's going to be a 1_, 2_, and 3_
name.
as well. I can't see them on this picture. Probably have to scroll up, which is something I can't really do currently.
Network key. Workbook. Simple. Last modified. 23 days ago. 18 days ago. Launcher.
So here's that launcher pane that they were talking about.
4 capstone. Notebook. Python 3. The kernel. Console.
And here is the
Python 3, the kernel.
IPy kernel that it says we have to click. So if I were to click that, I have to use a hotkey to essentially tell my mouse to go to the place where my screen reader has detected that particular bit of text. That is NVDA Shift M for people who want to move along with it. And the blip tells me that the mouse has turned and moved. I'll click with the click key.
Left click.
And now we have to essentially dismiss the OCR result we had from before.
Graphic clickable.
And OCR again to see if anything has changed, if at all.
Recognizing result.
What it says now.
Network key. Welcome
Scroll
back.
down to the bit that we've already
File.
seen.
Edit code. Untitled 1 untitled.ibn Jupyter Vex Plus.
So it does look like we were able to open an untitled IPYNB document.
127 kernel tab settings help. Untitled.ibn. Code. Sat December 2nd, 22nd:43. FH/Tom3. The different filter files by name. O. /4 capstone / name. Untitled.ib.
This is our Explorer window on the left.
Workbook.
But
Simple.
we cannot see
Last modified. 20 now. 18 Python 3. Lee. Python 3. The kernel.
pretty much anything in the right side. We have a Python 3.
Lee.
It says idle. I guess it makes it LDLE, but I'm pretty sure that says idle.
Mode. Edit.
It says that we're in edit mode,
Lane 1,
and it
call 1.
says that we're on line 1, column 1.
Untitled.ibn. Untitled.ibn.
And we can
Graphic clickable.
probably, if we don't click at all,
Edit multi-line.
if I know a little bit about how
Edit multi-line.
Jupyter Notebook generally tends to work, we are probably able to run code now. I'm going to try to just type the words to make like a hello world program happen. Oh,
Caps lock on.
doesn't make help if you don't have your caps lock on. Hello world. Gonna see if that runs at all. I don't think it will, but let's try it. Let's see what the OCR says.
Graphic clickable. Recognizing speech mode
Did
off.
we do anything new? I'm just gonna scroll down without the speech on so I can quickly check. Yeah, it does appear that we did manage it, and I think it arrowed out. Yeah, print hello world. Did it work? Can we see the result as well? Or maybe we typed in the title. I'm not sure actually where we typed. End of line while scanning string literal. Yeah, that's very fair because I did not type the quote properly. So we are, and let me actually see how this runs out because it's very messy.
Speech workbook. Simple. Last modified. 23 days ago. 1 minute ago. 18 days ago. EO while scanning string literal. Syntax error. Python 3 the picker lee. Command. Lane 2 col 7. Sat December 2nd. 23 the picker untitled.ipen. Untitled.ipen. The picker O. Untitled.ipen.
So I'm pretty sure we're back in our
edit multi.
So in this, as you can see, this is really slow. Like I have to type the code, hope that I don't make any typing mistakes, do a scan to make sure we actually even got the code in the right place. Then we have to make sure there is actual stuff to show. Takes forever, and we're not going to do any more of this in this video because it would take 5 years to get this task done, and we don't want to do that. This is as far as we can get access-wise on this machine. We are able to create a notebook. We are able to run rudimentary code. We could probably get somewhat more intelligent or more complicated code in by pasting it in, although I'm not sure if that would actually work. And that's it. We can go to the other notebooks that it's about to tell us about. We cannot look at the CSV file, which we are required to look at to answer the questions in this task because it's not separately linked. There is no direct link to this instance of Jupyter Notebook, which would be a really easy way to get this to be accessible. Essentially do the exact same thing the previous task did, where I can look at it in my own browser. And you could make the entire thing completely doable, because Jupyter Notebook, accessibility-wise, isn't great, but isn't terrible either. It's pretty usable. It's really just that we have an image of the screen better than the actual screen to work with here that makes all the difference here. Unfortunately, we don't have that, so that's all we do with this machine. We're going to go quickly through the code explanations and things that are here. I will not read everything because that would take... This is a lot of text for this task, and I will provide a link in the description for people who want to read the entire text. I'll read the majority of it, and I'll have this computer read most of the code explanations, and I'll go over how blind people code and things like that a little bit. But apart from that, this is really all we can do task-wise. I have the answer, so we can progress. And I had to get the answers from the video that's linked here in the task description for Husky Hacks, I believe his name is. And the only reason I got the answers from this person is because they tend to narrate their answers as they type them, which is very helpful. Again, when we do get to the questions, I will explain how I would have done it if I had access to the data set, which I currently do not. So let's continue on where we were. We left off here. Okay, computer was reading, so we'll have it continue reading.
Speech mode. You can double-click the folder icon in the File Explorer to open and close the File Explorer. This may be helpful on smaller resolutions. The notebook's interface is illustrated below. Graphic clickable. The image depicts the navbar for a notebook. It showcases buttons such as Run Cell, Add Cell below, Graphic clickable, Delete, etc. The notable buttons for today's task include Action, Icon, Keyboard Shortcut, Save, a floppy disk, Control+S, Run Cell, a play button, Shift+Enter, Run all cells, 2 play buttons alongside each other, None, Insert cell below, Rectangle with an arrow pointing down, D, Delete cell, a trash can, D, for now, don't worry about...
I actually like that these icons are described because I did not actually know they looked like that. So that is really helpful for people who generally have trouble. I see this in the blind community sometimes, that when someone refers to clicking a play button, they don't really know what that translates to, because obviously the screen reader doesn't call that a play button. So that these are described like this is actually something that's really nice. I applaud the author for doing that. Gives me a little bit more context. And people who might not know about these things also get some more context. So
D.
Basically,
a trash can. D. For now, don't worry about this algorithm.
It says for now, yeah. Let's just let it read the rest of the things. It's just a description of the Jupyter thing.
For now, don't worry about this toolbar at the very top of the screen. For brevity, everything has already been configured for you. Finally, note that you can move cells by area to their left. Graphic clickable and animated picture showing cells being swapped around.
Okay, well that's a pretty good description. Like no information is lost here, so that's good.
Practical.
For
the best learning experience, it is strongly recommended that you follow along using the Jupyter Notebook stored on the VM. I will recommend what Jupyter Notebook to use in each section. Below, the notebooks break down each step of the content below in much more detail.
Yes, see, we can't get to that detail because we can't access the notebooks, unfortunately. I found no links to them or no way to get to that content outside of the VM, so unfortunately we just cannot look at them. I happen to know for a fact that they do cover more than this lesson does. Which is one reason why I'm not going to cover the entire thing of text. There's a lot of text here already, and there's more in the notebooks which we cannot currently access. Basically, the sections cover Python 101, a bit about pandas, a bit about matplotlib, and then there's a capstone project which has all the questions. Now we'll skim through it, and I'll quickly explain the main topics, but I'll not read every single word because that would take forever. So
Python 3 crash course.
Essentially, the Python,
Speech
there's
mode
no
off.
headings in this either. There's no way to quickly jump from section to section in tasks, but I don't think task creators can add headings, so that's more on the side of THM than on the task creators. I could be wrong on that, but I'm not super sure. But okay, so the Python 3 crash course indicates that in Python you have the print command, print print, and then a paren, left quote, your text, right quote, and then a right paren. Or open and close paren, if you want to call them that. They are parentheses, essentially, and you stick your to-be-printed text in between. Then we go on to variables, which, as the author describes, are labeled boxes that you can store stuff in. Pretty, like you can say name equals, Ben in this case, and you can then change it to Ben, the name equals Adam, but you can always use name to refer to whatever is in that box at the time. So that's what a variable is. Sounds way, like, chicer than it really is, way more like fancy, but it really is just that. It also lists some domains that the Python can be used in. It's used for web development, game development, exploit development in cybersecurity, desktop application development, artificial intelligence, and data science. So one of the first things we learn is the print command. Yep, we've been over that. I'm just going to scroll through this real quick. So it gives you the analogy of moving house. You put stuff in a box, you label them, then you know what's in the box. When you refer to it, you can say, hey, look at that box over there that has that in there. We get like age equals 23. Name equals Ben. All that stuff is in here. I'm just going to scroll really quickly. This is also how I know who wrote this task. There's a snippet of command line output where it says c:\users\cmnetic, which is the username for a person on the TryHackMe content moderation team, I believe. So that's cool. Yeah. So it shows off. And then we have lists. Lists are essentially variables that you can stick more than one thing in, and then you can index. You can read those individual values by their so-called index, which starts at 0 and then goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for every item you add to the list. So it's essentially a box with compartments. Every compartment is labeled with a number. And you can just tell it, okay, give me that from that compartment and then give you that particular thing. It tells you a little bit more about that, but basically that's how it works. Yep, there's more output here. Just scrolling past that real quick. Then we get to pandas. Pandas is a Python library that allows us to manipulate, process, and structure data. It can be imported using import pandas. In today's task, we are going to import pandas as the alias PD to make it easier to refer to within your program. This can be done with import as PD. Yeah, fair enough. That's really all we need to know about that. It continues to go over essentially series and data frames. Series are basically lists with superpowers. You can stick multiple things in there, and then you can do all sorts of cool functions on it. Data frames are more like sort of Excel sheets. It's essentially a two-dimensional list, so you have a list of lists, and then when you make the data frame, you give every item in the list, in like the first list, a name, sort of a column header, and the other lists sort of conform to that pattern. So you say name, age, location, and then you give them, the subsequent lists are combinations of first name, then age, then location, name, age, location, and it's all the way down, just like an Excel spreadsheet, basically. And obviously, once you've done that, you can use all sorts of methods on it to render that and sort of get like the average of a column, or the sum of a column, or the size of a column. You can group things by other things, stuff like that. So that is what that does. And then matplotlib essentially takes that and allows you to, for example, render that out in a chart or a bar graph or a line chart, anything that really helps you to visualize. Like it said in the beginning of the task, you have to visualize these things so people can see what you're saying, like map out the secrets of the universe, as you will. And In particular, this would be tricky for people like myself who would not be able to check our output very easily, but it's certainly doable. I know various blind data scientists who make it work with all sorts of hackery and other cool little black magic tricks to make it work better. So the Capstone project essentially has us look at a data file, a comma-separated values file, CSV file with network traffic for this particular network. And it has us do some of the various things that I just said on that thing. So find sums, find averages, and things like that. So we cannot do that because we don't have access to the machine. But we do have the answers. So I'm going to go over these questions now, and I'm going to explain how I would have done it. Open the notebook workbook located in the directory Capstone on the VM. Use what you have learned today to analyze the packet capture. Now that's a bit of a misnomer, I feel, because it assumes that you've looked at the notebooks. Like, there's not enough information on just the page to be able to do these questions. You wouldn't know about. There's no actual mention about no actual mention of the various methods that you can use on columns, for example. And you're going to need those in order to get the numbers that you're going to need to fill into these into these questions. Unfortunately, that is something we don't have access to. You'd have to Google tutorials for Matplotlib and Pandas to get those, because they're not in a text here. They are in the notebook, which makes perfect sense because you would expect people to be able to access that. But we cannot, so, well, too bad. How many packets were captured? Looking at the packet number. So basically, I'm pretty sure every row in this CSV would have a packet number. So really all you have to do is count the number of rows in this CSV. There is a count method that you can use on that. You can use a method to read the CSV into a data frame. So like I said, you would then have columns for the various things in the CSV. That's also how a CSV starts. And then you can just count the amount of rows in there, excluding the column header, which is what the count method does. And if you do that, if I'm not mistaken, you end up with the one number 100, which is correct. Very good. Number 2, what IP address sent the most amount of traffic during the packet capture? So you can cheat a little bit here. You can see that there is the format is ***.***.***. If I see ***.**** like that describing an IP address, I already know pretty sure that it's going to be 10.10 because that is pretty common to see. It's a bit of a cheat, but it does generally apply. So I'm going to just fill in 10.10. How would I do this for the rest? I can see that both of them are one-digit numbers, so you could brute force this and just try 1 through 9 on both of the spaces in the octet. We're not going to do that because I know the answer, but you could do that way. I don't think it penalizes you for doing that, but that's a way to do it. How you would do this is you would essentially group. You would group it by IP. Like there's a column in the CSV, I'm pretty sure that says IP address. You would group by that column, and then you can look at how many times a certain IP shows up. And if you were to do that, you would see that 10.10.1.4 is the most common IP address, which is correct. Same trick, really. What was the most frequent protocol? So same deal. There's probably a protocol column in this. I can't see the data set, but I'm pretty sure there's a protocol column in there that tells us what protocol is being used. Again, we can cheat a little bit here and dismiss things like Telnet and FTP because they don't have enough letters. There's going to be 4 letters. So it's going to be HTTP, IMAP, or SMTP, or probably ICMP. And I happen to know it's ICMP, which is the ping protocol. You would do the exact same thing as before. You would group it by the protocol column, and then maybe you need to massage the data a little bit more to get the highest one, but that's really all you need to do to get this answer. We can't do it because we don't have access to the notebook, but that's what I would do. ICMP is correct. If you enjoyed today's task, check out the Intro to Log Analysis room. No answer needed. Okay, we have completed this already. There we go. And I will also complete the first question, which I just realized we did not complete. The one that says What does it say? Use what you've learned today to analyze the packet capture. We'll just say that we did and not talk about it again, okay? There we go. So, that is all the questions for this task. And also the end of this video. Basically, we couldn't do the task. We had to rely on third-party aid to finish the task. And what would I have done differently? Honestly, the easiest way to make this one work is to provide a direct link to the Jupyter Notebook instance. That is the easiest way to get this to be accessible. At that point, at least THM did what they could. They haven't done that here. I guess they figured it would be too easy, or they wanted to show off their cool split screen functionality or whatever. I think it's good to have options in this case. Right now we don't. We only have the split screen option, which is not accessible. And even if audio were to work on the VM, I don't know how well that would work with Orca. Honestly, Orca is a bit of a... let's just say it lags behind a bit with other screen readers currently. That's certainly not a dig at the Orca developers. I know they're doing what they can, but it's definitely true that I've had some more trouble with the Orca screen reader as opposed to, say, NVDA or VoiceOver even. So the most accessible way would have been put a direct link to the container. Right now, that would just involve making it listen on a port and then just have the link go to that port. Be a very small change to make. Second thing you could do is make the accessibility stack on the VMs work, which I don't think they do currently. I have not really been able to mess with it too much, but I'm relatively sure that's still broken. Third thing you could have done is link to the CSV file so people can load it into their own notebook. That's not been done either, so you can't get the data. So there's like loads of ways you could have really easily made this a lot more accessible. I generally recommend bring your own tools if you can, and that's been denied to us in this case, so we are blocked from proceeding. Thank you, Husky Hacks, if you ever do see this, for narrating your answers, so I got them. Otherwise, I would have had to do this with AI, which probably would have worked, but it would have taken forever. And I'll see you all in the next one, where we do task 3, which I don't know what it is yet because it's not out yet. It's coming out sometime tomorrow, probably 6 my time. So I'm not sure if that's going to be tomorrow when I upload that or the day after. We'll have to see how much time I have. For now,
Speech mode off.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.